Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Ire Dice, episode 3 of the first chapter of our podcast adventure, Wrath of the Aquan Realm. We will be picking up directly from where we left off. So, Alakir, you stand there, the 3 figures before you. You watch as the central figure says to you, "Well then, we've a long day ahead of us tomorrow. It's about time you got your rest.
Yes.
And we have our own business to attend to before the new day's light comes to bear. Rest well. You will need your strength." Turns to the 2 figures on either side. "Shall we?" And you watch as his form begins to dissipate into that dark, shadowy mist cloud that then the 2 larger figures swoop out, and you watch as Ire turns to you and says, "Well, I'm sure you are afraid in some aspect, as am I. We were waiting for some kind of opportunity, but this is not the one that we had in mind. Rest well. I go now to my bloodline to wake them for the coming battle."
Thank you, Fire.
You watch as Ire drops onto the ground, and after a few seconds of this dark transmutation, shifts his form into that of a vampire bat and scatters out the open window. You are now alone in the chamber.
Well, off to bed.
Mordecai, give me a perception check to determine if other individuals have left.
That's a natural 1.
Your heartbeat in your own ears is so loud that it's interfering with your ability to identify whether or not there are still individuals in the room besides Alakir. And you were too far away from the source of dialogue. You were able to hear conversation, not in any detail, but the murmuring of low voices. But there's been a pause. But you don't know what that means.
I shakily reach my hand up to the door and just... I don't say anything, but just knocking lightly.
Yes.
Is everything okay in there?
We're all good. The chamber's empty. Child of the Raven.
Everyone's gone.
Yes.
May I come in?
Yes.
I open the door and push my way in, closing it behind me.
You appear rather shaken. I assume you wish to speak?
I go to the window and make sure it's all locked and close the curtain. How do you know him?
His organization is associated with the Faceless. It's an association that I've learned of tonight. I understand that he's after you.
Did he see me?
Not that I know of.
I'm putting you all in danger. I can't be here.
And why's that?
The storm outside begins to grow slightly, and the calm that has continued over the past hour or so seems to shift yet again towards a more overcast and hostile horizon.
Unless you plan to turn me over to him, if he finds out I'm here, he will kill all of you to get to me.
Well, as I've said, if there comes such a time where you leave our ranks tomorrow, I may not notice.
I will find you again.
I must know. I was told you've escaped this man before.
I did do that. Barely.
I'm assuming those are the wounds I healed when we first met.
Aye.
You're a good man, Mordecai. Survival is of your utmost importance, I understand, as it may be for most of us. But if you choose not to fight with us tomorrow, I understand. Because Yalgrit fights among our ranks as well.
And if I do, I will die. And others beside me. I fear that Artie and Sigil and possibly even Eridor would stand in his way without knowing. I cannot have their deaths on my hands too.
The shadows are your friend, Mordecai. You will know when to strike. If you remain close in the first place. Now, is there anything else you'd like to speak of?
No, that's all I had. Just don't trust him.
Well, if you do choose to leave our ranks by dawn, I want you to have this. And Alakir reaches down and he undoes the Tonto connected to the shard. What you see before you looks very similar to the scabbard that holds Alakir's blade, the one you've known to be the shard. However, it's silver and jade inlaid. Scabbard is adorned with gold imageries of fire and a large smithy's hammer. If you are native to this region, you may recognize it, but that's if you are. I don't think you are.
No,
Okay.
I'm a foreigner.
Cool. The handle is a very simple green cross wrapping, your diamond wrapping that you would normally see, and it has the end cap of the hilt is that of solid jade. Well, If you choose not to join us tomorrow, I'd like you to have this.
Look here, you barely know me. I can't take this from you.
Have you ever seen me draw it?
No.
What's the use of a blade if you cannot use it?
I reach my hand out and I take the blade.
Remember those you fought alongside. If I die tomorrow, my blood is not on your hands. Take this in remembrance of me.
I take it and I put it around my waist and clasp it to my belt, and as I said, I will find you whenever I can. I just can't be too close. I have someone who might be able to help us, or help me help you, but I need to go find them. I will try to do so before dawn.
Well then, I will hopefully see you soon. And before Alec here takes his rest, he reaches out his arm and places it on the shoulder of Mordecai. Really thankful that I'm about to take a long rest because I'm expending the remaining 26 hit points of lay on hands that I have to Mordecai. Mm-hmm. Now, I'll see you soon, friend.
Hopefully, yes. And I'm gonna leave the room, and I'm gonna try to sneak out of the building.
You grab up the rest of your gear before you depart?
Yeah.
Okay, you gather your things. Go ahead and give me a stealth check.
I'm going to bed.
I want... who's up researching right now? Audie and...
I am meditating, so not me.
Audie, I want you to make a perception check with disadvantage because you're actively focusing on something else.
With disadvantage, that is going to be an 11.
Mordecai?
I rolled a 2 on the die, so that's a 13.
No sound other than your own soft, quiet breaths far away from everyone else is heard as you grab your things and slip through the double doors of the entrance into the residential suite of the Vaklu Embassy. Where would you like to go?
I'd like to go and try and find my uncle.
Juicy. Go ahead and give me an investigation check.
That's a 15.
15. So you make your way through the Vaklu Embassy, continuing to descend down to the main floor. You reach the courtyard, and as you kind of begin to walk your way through this kind of small, kind of ornate, almost hedgerow atrium, it's outside, and as you progress, you see kind of the exit walls in front of you of the Vaklu Embassy that leads then out into the Jade Ward. And as you continue to make your way across the courtyard, a voice catches you off guard. Running, are we? And you turn and see lying flat on his back with a cloak underneath him and looking up at the darkened sky, bits of rain slowly beginning to trickle down across his face, and dark leather armor ornately adorned with raven iconography. Your uncle, Killian Garin. Yes, you did. You should have. I told it to you before.
Yes, I do. Okay. Uncle, I can't handle it. He will kill me, and he will kill them if I don't.
What causes you to believe this?
Experience.
Carr. He bested you before. And through that suffering, he took away an understanding of the path that lies before you. Your body now is a living testament to a victory, not of a war, but of a battle. But the war goes on. I told you that I cannot be the one to tell you the terms of your own destiny. But that Yaugrit lies on the path to understanding your own. I sense a greater mantle of destiny upon you since last we spoke.
I don't know what you're speaking of.
Do you not feel it?
Things have happened. Things I...
What things?
I close my eyes and... hold up a number of fingers. Do something. Just change something around the area. Well, that's rude.
For our viewers, his uncle just flipped him off. I see. He alights from the top of the hedgerow and drops down onto his feet and stands before you, just about an inch or two taller. He looks down and says, "It is a sacred duty. One not that we choose for ourselves, but that is given unto us. Equal parts curse and blessing. A life of purpose. For the third time I tell you I cannot unfold to you the very essence of your role. But I know that you have grown in understanding of the one who I, and soon you will serve fully, who your father served, who your mother serves."
And where is she in all of this? Am I supposed to remember that?
No. She too tried to escape her fate, and now lies with our mistress, far from here. But she awaits you, and she cannot come to you, although she longs to. She wishes you to know the truth, but you must reach her, not the inverse.
Look, I came seeking you for help, not in this matter, but...
Why do you think I'm here? I've been watching you since we first spoke.
So you know what is happening tomorrow?
I have some inkling, yes. I perched just outside the window while they spoke. The shadows are my ally as well. And one raven is easily lost within the night sky.
What would she have me do?
You must face your fears. You must face the one you fear. There is in equal parts physical and divine barrier encased upon you. You are chained from knowing the fullest extent of who you are, Car. And he unloosens several buckles upon his left bracer and puts forward his own left forearm, almost identical to yours, but the last two glyphs are reversed. His dagger is blackened, and the tombstone is that almost off-white, almost raised skin like from a brand. We each are given a fate. All I can say is this. The power of the Raven Queen will be your ally as soon as you forsake what you do not understand and cling to something far more powerful than your own fear. And he moves his fingers from one to another. He puts his finger upon the prayer book, as did your father. The open door. Your mother. The tombstone. As I do. And finally puts his finger on the dagger. And as you must. And he puts his bracer back on.
So I should stay with them, then.
Yes. From what I understand of the Faceless' plans, although I do not know much, Ygritte will not be present at the tribunal. He will be elsewhere, with other agents of the Faceless. The Faceless does not trust him. My boy, it is no easy thing, that which you must face. But Ygritte is not as strong as your fear twists and shapes it in your mind. For what I understand of this creature, about 50 years ago, as I said, Yaugret was born as a servant of creatures of a dark plane. And he served their purpose, and yet again was left to die. And 21 years ago, he was born again by an enemy of theirs, this time with a new purpose, as a servant of those and a particular individual who hates our mistress, who wishes to pervert her own fate and the fate of those who serve her. Yaugret is now a child of Orcus. But he is, well, arrogant, stubborn, and can easily be fooled by one more inclined. If you play your cards right, you will bring him to his doom, and your mind shall yet again be opened. So yes, I have sensed that it is her fate that you shall dwell with him tomorrow. But I have sensed my own fate. I can no longer be your silent protector. I must return to her side. And I must await you there. When Yaugret lies dead before you, you know where you must go. You will know then. The rain begins to fall, heavily now, as he stands.
I hold out my my left arm to him.
He clasps your left forearm in a tight grip.
Good luck.
May you be safe within the canopy of the Raven Queen, and may her mantle of unkindness ever be upon you. And even as you hold his hand, you feel his form shake, and he scatters into a small flock of ravens that fly up and vanish into the night sky around you.
I turn around and head back to the embassy. I'm not even trying to stealth when I get back. Just walking through.
Okay. You going straight to bed?
I'm heading in that direction, yeah.
Okay. Adi, give me another perception check real quick.
With disadvantage?
No, because
oh, wait.
now
It's my watch, isn't it? Or
you're going to bed and then they're getting you up.
okay, then.
So, just a regular perception check because he's not stealthing.
That's a 3. It's a really good book that I'm reading.
Fantastic. More anglerfish extreme diagrams?
Oh gosh. Oh gosh.
Yeah. So, you're reading. You don't actively notice Mordecai.
Just head straight to bed then.
Very well. Now, you're reading the third book, yes? Or are you poring over the letters?
Well, I'm guessing they wrote down which letters I've already read and whatnot. So depending if I have time, then I would go from the letters to the third book.
Yes, I made sure to, when I was giving them to you, I remember mentioning this earlier, that I handed you, like, the ones that, here are the ones that we have not gone over. Here are the ones that we have. So these are the new ones, but they're not much.
Yeah.
Okay. Kenneth has gone to bed, so go ahead and give me... What did I say last time? Investigation?
Yes, but I mean, if you want to switch it to history, I would very much love that.
That's a no!
It's worth a shot.
Funny joke!
That is a 10.
Better than the last it was.
Unfortunately, as you continue to pore over some of the letters, the only thing you really find is just it's more trading information between Hontori and the other houses. Nothing really strikes your eye. More of a continuation of what they saw before of particular houses, kind of gaining more rapport with House Hontori. Nothing really eye-catching.
I just have a pile of just old trade documents, and I'm guessing most of these are going straight there.
Yeah. Go ahead and give me another one for the book as you spend about your first 2 hours poring over those letters, and you now spend you're now spending the rest of your time going over the book for your watch. So go ahead and give me that investigation again.
Advantage in any way?
Actually, I'll say, because you've already been poring over the book, instead of investigation, I will let you do Arcana.
Arcana. Well, I mean, that turns a 3 to a 7.
Quick
I can't do math. Dear goodness, I had a stroke there. What the heck?
Just like my grandmother.
Wah. Who had a stroke?
So unfortunately, you continue to read the sections, or the pages, and it kind of, after the section about the Jewel of the Depths, it kind of trickles on, but ends up getting into more of a discussion of the other planes, and you kind of find yourself reading, wondering if they'll ever find its way back, because there isn't really a break or a division. It doesn't divide into chapters, and you're kind of wondering, is this ever going to get back to the elemental plane of water? It doesn't. So you spend about the last 2 hours going through about the next 100 or so pages, kind of speed reading, but...
Yeah, I'm trying to, get a bunch of little scrap paper, write just, short definition and slide it into...
But you do learn about the particular dieting interest of earth elementals, and about which metals and types of rock they most appreciate, and which are actually in the shifting metallic and geological seasons within the elemental plane of earth. Interesting stuff.
Sigil snores a little louder.
But yeah, I'm just trying to just write short descriptions on a little piece of paper and slide it in between the pieces of paper, just so who else has to read it next will at least have some ease of access.
Very well. It is now the end of your watch.
It should be my turn to research, I believe.
No, I thought you were just...
You went to bed.
Not in the...
I'm
You
just
cooked and then
not
went to
researching.
bed. Yeah. That's what we discussed last time.
Ah, well, forgive me.
So I guess I wake up next watch, which is Mordecai or an Eridor.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Who are you waking up first?
I go to Eridor's door.
I assume I just hear this.
You're kind of in that meditation trance because elves.
Oh, hello.
Hi, it's Ahti.
Yes, it's my watch, isn't it?
Yes, it is watch time.
Okay, thank you. I will get...
Yes, just letting you know, I've read through most of the book. I don't think there's anything there. If you were planning on researching, and most of the letters didn't have anything left.
Okay, thank you. As we were having the conversation, I kind of walk up the door and open up, and I kind of walk up to Ahti and I say, "Thank you so much for being so cooperative." And I kind of rub her head a little bit. And
Do you like rub part of my horns then also, or?
well, let's take that back.
Because I mean, my horns come out from the top and wrap around my ears, so there's not like a bunch of stuff on top.
Okay, well, I'll just give you a pat on the shoulder instead, so I don't cut my hand.
Make a creeper check.
Oh gosh.
With advantage.
Eridor walks over to wherever Mordecai's quarters.
Well, I would, after you pat me on my shoulder, I'd start walking also.
Oh, I can get him.
Well,
it's okay. Go to bed.
Okay.
All right.
Good night.
Good night.
Tell Mordecai good night for me.
Will do.
Okay, bye.
Bye. And I walk over to Mordecai's quarters.
Yeah.
It's time for us to take the watch.
Yeah.
You sound really tired. Do you need to continue to sleep?
No, I agreed to watch. I'm going to watch.
Okay. All right. Well, come on down here. We've got a few more pages to read, just a little bit left. If you want to help or if you just want to watch, that's fine.
I'll watch.
Okay.
Take your rest. Take your rest.
And I guess I go to the study with the papers and go through the last little bit.
Okay, go ahead and give me a final investigation check to finish off. See if there's anything else of value you can ascertain from what you took from House Suntory.
You said ass.
I also said Ertain, which is just as funny.
Is it though?
It's not.
15.
You laboriously pore over the last 10 or so letters. We're cutting that out in post.
Oh, please, God.
And you see that there is one almost official looking paper that has at the bottom the signatures of all of the high lords and ladies of the high houses. And it looks to be some kind of decree to House Hithvaru. The gist of the letter specifically highlights the fact that Lord Vosmir's two sons are about to be of the age for their final trials and full induction into the Order of the Jade Flame. It goes on for several paragraphs talking about the importance of the balance of power within the Jade Coast structure and how the miraculous birth of one Aasimar to another has not been seen before in almost a millennium, and how with the full enkindling of power from a full initiate of the Order of the Jade Flame, this would dramatically shift and put House Hithvaru in a position of dominance over the rest of the high houses. There is a continued long explanation, and the letter or official document concludes with a decree of the rest of the high houses saying that in order to keep House Hithvaru impartial and not in a place of control and potential power to the level of them being able to conquer the other houses, the Jade Tribunal rules that Alakir cannot be allowed to pass his paladin trials. And it says that if Vosamir defies the decree, that it is their duty to protect the rest of the Jade Coast, to retaliate against the entirety of House Hithvaru. And it calls for specifically the deaths of Alakir, Ramses, and Vosamir if he does not comply.
Okay, that sounds quite. I guess as I'm reading this. Oh, wow.
And the final signature of the house who originally proposed the document is signed in beautiful calligraphy as Lady Morgana Hontori.
Is she a noted sponsor in this? Do they have a sponsor of the bill?
She is the sponsor of the bill.
Okay, all right, awesome.
Hey, Eridor, I think I am gonna get that rest after all. I'm gonna wake Sigil to help you, and you can maybe get him to help. I'll see you in the morning.
Yes, he can. Yes, go to bed.
I go, and I'm gonna go to Sigil's room. Just Sigil,
Yes.
would you like to take a watch?
Sure. I've rested plenty.
Good. I haven't, and I just turn and go to my quarters.
That man never ceases to perplex me. And I go downstairs.
Okay, you find Eridor sitting at the large table, which has been turned into the study by that large series of 3 window panes, and you see him putting down that final document.
Yes.
Do you mind if we could talk for a second?
No, not at all. What's the problem?
2 things. First, after our conversation, could you start getting breakfast done?
Sure, no problem.
Okay, thank you. The second thing I want to say is there was a lot going on, a lot more that we're all learning about all together at the same time. And what I need you to do you remember that time back in the desert when you had to trust me and you had to put your gun down? Do you remember that?
Yes,
Near
I do.
the crucified bodies.
Right. Although I wasn't thinking then, you know that.
I know. I think we're about to pass through a lot more tribulations. I need you to trust me.
You need to start telling me why I should trust you.
We are going to talk with Alakir in the morning.
Okay.
He knows most about all this. I needed to talk to him before this. But be prepared. I'm preparing you now for there's a lot of things that are about to start happening, okay?
Can you be any more specific?
It looks like we are staging a coup.
Oh. Okay.
So, if you could just...
Help.
That's coming. Yes. We will need your help.
Not a problem. You have at least one gun. I believe I need the other one. I'm getting that one in the morning.
Okay. Thank you.
Not a problem. I look at the documents. You need help with the documents, yes?
I think I'm just through with all of them. I'm going to go back and reorganize, and it'll be time to get the rest up.
Well, I have no reason to go back to sleep. I guess I could start breakfast early. I walk back in the room. Just so we're clear, you did just say we are staging a coup. Yes?
Yes.
We are overthrowing the people that we are working for?
Kind of, yes. Alikir knows a lot more than I do, and he can probably phrase it a lot better. When there's a lot of things going on at the same time, time tends to confuse me for a second. So
You're not the only one confused, I'll tell you that.
there are many people who know many different things, and I don't think we all know the same thing at the same time.
This is like having a puzzle, but everyone else has a specific piece and nobody knows what is going on.
Yes, but
I hate metaphors, and I just leave.
To be fair, it was better than the tree metaphor from last campaign, because that was awful. Don't worry, guys. You don't want to know. It was really bad.
It was real funny.
Metaphors never made any sense.
Your metaphors don't make any sense.
and then with that, I organize them, and then I begin to start waking people up.
So,
I'm assuming it's been long enough for a long rest, correct?
Yes, everyone is now level 8.
level 8 unlocked. Do I roll for how good my food is?
Make a performance check.
As he's doing that, as we're getting up, I go to Alikir.
That's a nat 20, baby! Oh. Oh.
Make for breakfast.
Sigil brings back the scones, but in a pretty sweet way. Makes a double-decker coffee cake with its own sort of buttercream icing. Also on the side is hot tea with also ginger and also brown sugar on the side. And yeah, it's massive. And did I mention there are 5 coffee cakes? Boom! And funny joke. And all I'd like to say,
We have to have one of those every episode. I'm just gonna say.
can I also just say that how everyone wakes up is to the aroma of this cake?
Sure. So everybody is woken up through the sounds of cooking and the aromas of a almost finished breakfast bounty. As you all, one at a time within quick succession, open your eyes and you discover that it is still dark outside. Even though it is super dark, you can see bits of the moon shining through that does reveal a continuous heavy overcast. The clouds have not dispersed.
And as Alikir wakes up, he hears a voice in his head. It's me. Alikir, I've come across some more information. May I enter?
Yes.
And I open the door and say, "Oh wow, the coffee cake really does smell good. Still did a good job. At least I hope."
Well, then let's make this quick.
So I came across this document, and this document says that, well, it basically tells the same story of the book I discovered earlier back in the library. Do you remember that? Well, you weren't there, but do you remember that? No, you don't. I discovered a book that said that you basically could not go through your paladin trials. Correct?
Actually, to clarify that, the book that you read in the library spoke of the deaths of Alikir and Ramses at the hands of the Blood Ravagers, and that Vossimir's wife, Ramses and Alikir's mother, was so overcome with grief that she hung herself.
Okay.
That
Let's try this again. I came across this letter, and I hand it to you, and as you can see here, this shows that the other houses conspired against House of Varu so that you and your brother could not take your paladin trials. And if you notice at the bottom, in excellent writing, there is the sponsor of the bill, Lady Morgana.
This is the first time you've ever seen Alikir, like, visibly shaken.
Hey,
That bastard. He let his whole family die for bureaucracy's sake.
your father.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this, if anything, should be motivation. I want you to know that I have been fully loyal to all of what's going on, and this
I'm aware.
has increased that 10 times. Is there anything you want me to do with this document? You told me to visit the Faceless earlier. Should I head that way?
Message this to Vira immediately. Morgana dies first.
Okay. I should document. Run downstairs, sigil.
Okay. You burst into the small kitchen that is attached to the residential suite, and
I assume the other two are making their way there, or they're already there.
Slowly but surely, I am on my way.
Ah! What are you doing? Calm down.
Okay, sorry. Here, could you do me a favor?
Another. Yes. What is it?
Okay. I need you to message to Vire, and then I message in your brain Lady Morgana first.
I do so.
okay. So you have 25. Are you casting sending?
Yeah.
Okay, Tavire, you have 25 words.
Lady Morgana dies first.
You need to speak to me first. You can to get more back.
Do you say anything else? I mean, he's already casting it.
I can't uncast it. Nope, that's it. That's it. Lady Morgana dies first.
Okay, so what he heard was Lady Morgana dies first. Yep, that's it. Morgana dies first. That was the message that was sent to Vire. You hear Vire come back a few moments later and say, well, depending on how the tribunal goes, that was one possibility. What makes us want to kill her first? I mean, we want her to die. She's a little bitch, but what new news do you have that makes us want to strike initially?
I hand him the document and say, tell him that we've come across more evidence of Lady Morgana's conspiracy, especially that she proposed a bill for the rest of the Jade Coast that would make it so that Alakir and Ramses could not take their paladin trials. The Alakir could not take his paladin trials.
I don't know who Ramses is. However, I guess I will send it.
Just say, we came across an official document saying that Lady Morgana sponsored a bill that Alakir could not take his paladin trials.
Lady Morgana has sponsored a bill that will not allow.
That did not allow Alakir
to take his paladin trials.
Yes. Official document.
It's an official document. That is all.
Well, I don't know that we have time to view this document before everything starting. The tribunal will begin in an hour. Our agents tell me that there is a person from House Vaklu on their way to escort you there. We will not have time to view this document before the tribunal. We will view it after our victory.
He says he's going to view it after the victory. That there's a representative here coming to escort us.
Okay, well, I think we should all come together and talk about this. Alakir?
Yes.
Let's all sit down. I think maybe explaining all this may be a bit better.
Okay.
So you all congregate downstairs as Sigil prepares the hearty coffee, cake, and tea breakfast for you all. You arrange on the table and you see Orla coming downstairs and, oh, it smells lovely.
That's me holding up my end of the bargain.
I do hope so.
Well, give it a shot. I cut her the first slice, and I hand it to her.
She takes it and takes a fork and...
I stare with bated breath.
She takes a bite. She pauses for a moment.
Oh, it better be good.
And just chews really slowly. You know, that's really good, actually. It's, wow.
Sigil sits in a chair. Of course, this I made it. Of course.
And she takes the knife and begins cutting portions for everybody else.
I guess I take one. Thank you.
I help. I pass one to Ati. I thought you was it not fine? Well, I guess.
Where are you then?
Alakir's getting your slice.
I'm in my room because I haven't had a purpose to leave it.
I gave you one whenever I made this bomb cake.
You hear everybody in a nearby chamber, and you do smell the smells of a delicious breakfast.
I'll grab a slice
Sponsored
and go
by
and find
Denny's.
Artie.
No, we're not sponsored by Denny's.
Do you enjoy just leaving? You know the whole purpose of breakfast is to communicate with one another.
Yes, and that's why I'm getting the one person not here.
She'll be here. Give it a minute.
I'm going to go and get her.
It's at this time as you...
This cake is fantastic, though.
As you begin
Yes,
to
thank you.
leave the room, you see the double doors open, and you see a slightly more rested Ginnith enter with Hestel. And they shut the doors behind them, and Hestel says, "My, that smells fantastic. I haven't eaten this morning. Sigil, did you make this?
Of course I did. What? Do you think?
Has anyone checked that it's not poison?"
It's good to see you, Captain.
Good to see you as well, Sergeant.
Hmm.
Hestel goes over and takes a slice and a small cup of tea, and you see Ginnith just kind of like, with still visible circles under his eyes. He wears now a new robe, the same design as the other, but a little more pristine, with a lot less blood and other things on it from, the attacks of last night, especially your siege up the beachfront into Lady Morgana's.
Our D&D day, you mean?
Yes, D&D day.
Oof.
Operation Morgana Overlord?
Kingfish?
Anyway, but you see him kind of gingerly take a cup of tea, but doesn't go for the cake and just takes a beverage.
Oh, don't be shy. I cut him a slice and I hand it to him.
I already ate, but thank you. And he sips the tea. This tea is really good, though.
Thank you.
Yeah, you did real good with those leaves.
Believe it or not, I actually hate ginger tea. Just every time I make it, people like it.
Is that tea back by now?
Mordecai, you've gone to retrieve Adi, and her door is shut.
I mean, it's probably a crack open.
It's shut, but there's just a little crack.
Come in.
push the door open. Breakfast. Everyone's about to meet and talk about today.
I guess when you come in, you do see Adi's staring out the window into the dark clouds with,
like an edgelord.
Just looking outside, it just happens to be overcast.
Correlation, not causation.
And you just see in her hands, her flipping through different colored beads. She turns around, she says, "Oh, yes, sorry, I'll be joining in a second."
I move to stand beside her and look out the window. You know, there's not much to look at. There's quite a few clouds today.
But it helps to meditate.
Artie, do you remember what I told you a long time ago?
When you told me I should kill my friends? I'm pretty sure you told me if my friends are gonna die, I should kill them.
No, I said that if it came down to it in a dangerous situation, you should leave others behind and take care of yourself.
So, leave them to die and kill them for not even trying to help them? I don't quite see that as a good plan, letting people die.
There may come a day soon where, if you don't heed that advice, not one of us will be left.
Well, I've been prepared for my day of death for quite a while. But that cake does smell good. And I turn and start to walk out.
I want to say that was one of the most tender and also saddest lines throughout this entire campaign, and that hurt my heart a little bit. So, you go get breakfast. Sniffles.
So everyone's downstairs, I assume?
Yes.
I walk up and I say, I've got these papers. And I say, okay, last night I finished going through all these, and I kind of put them on the table, and I say, we have a lot to talk about. So let's get our food. Let's all sit down with Hestel and Genneth, and let's get going on this meeting.
That's great, because I have no idea what's going on.
I want to say very quickly before we begin, we do have a limited amount of time. We must leave for the tribunal in approximately 40 or so minutes. We have about a 10-minute walk, and we'll need to be in place before the session begins. Currently on the agenda is an introduction on the state of affairs by Lord Vosmer Hethvaru, and several statements of intent and resolution. The first two brought forth by Lord Varen Vaklu, and the second by Lady Morgana Huntori. It is in our favor, this order of preference, that Varen will have an opportunity to speak before Morgana. And this means that anything we find now may be of the utmost importance. We must prove, if we can, her treachery before whatever deception she begins to spin is brought forward.
So do we really need to be sitting around here talking, or do we need to go now and just explain on the way?
Eat quickly and talk now, and then we will leave.
I just reach over and with my bare hand grab some cake.
It's good, yeah.
So are we returning to Turek to find the orb?
I believe we should stop his owner first. Either way, Elidor, what do you have?
I guess of all the things that we have a lot of letters communicating the relationship that the House Huntari started to have with other houses, also showing its sudden prosperity, that kind of point. So, and then we also noticed that
Which houses are they more in connection with?
the houses of Anjou, Taipei, Tuvalu, and Kimizala. Is that how you say Chris? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also...
Just wanted to see.
I've got them written down.
Just checking.
And then we also have this... And we also have evidence of House Antari taking what's labeled as a pleasure cruise to examine the beauties and jewels of the sea. However, I think we all know that with Ati's research that I think that possibly this jewel is actually this jewel that our Kraken priest needs.
Yes, that seems to be the most accurate assumption. That's so. Are we not trying to get the pearl anymore? I'm confused.
We are.
Yes, we are. But
it must be returned for the coast to survive.
We think House Antari. We are very sure that House Antari has it.
So why aren't we getting it?
So we are going to try to take down House Antari and maybe get the orb.
If we can convince the other houses that Hontori has doomed the coast for their own interest, then the rest of the coast will act in our favor. But we also found an interesting piece of legislature.
And then I take out this bill and I show it for everyone to see. If everyone wants to take a look, I kind of hold it out and look at it. Like if he wants to pick it up.
Yes.
What do you... I would assume upon learning my name that you would know what this legislature has to do with.
Actually, I don't recall knowing your last name, Alakir.
Well, not many people are named Alakir, but my name is Alakir Hithvaru.
Mr. Hestel slowly closes his mouth and nods. Go on.
As you can see by the oath that I have taken, I have not died at the hands of the Blood Ravagers.
Yes.
My hatred for bureaucracy and some unrighteous and unlawful acts taken by the coast. You remember this legislature. And Alakir hands him the paper. This is it. House Hontori used the other houses to build up their own wealth, whilst still stimulating the economy of the coast, but with this paper, she signed into law a way to stop the growth and the flourishing of other houses. My family. That calligraphy you see before you is in my mother's blood. You know of her suicide. You know of the loss of my brother Ramses.
Make a persuasion check. With advantage.
Chris, hate to break this. Is the Jade Coast, how, and when they interpret like accusations and stuff, is it like the English system where you're innocent until guilty until proven innocent, or is it reverse where it's
You're innocent until proven guilty.
innocent proven guilty? Okay.
Young Christopher, that is a 22.
Hestel nods. If what we believe to be true about these other documents, it makes sense that the strongest house to stand against Hontori if they were to rise to power would be Hithvaru.
But they are the police. They are the lawbringers. Another great Asimar following another is only the successor to the seat of the house.
Exactly. What I mean is that if House Hontori wishes to uplift itself above the others and take control in an entirety of the coast, those who would stand against such an injustice would have been your kin. And of course it would have been their goal to weaken potentially the greatest legacy of those who would be those who would stand in their way.
Well, if we can prove this, 11 houses, a Kraken priest, armies of Swahagan, and I would assume a Kraken stand in her way. I don't know about you, but I would like to see House Hithvaru, or any portion of the coast for that matter, survive the next 48 hours or 36 hours. Wouldn't you agree?
Most definitely.
Then, I hope that we are all in agreement. Morgana must die.
Can she not just be imprisoned?
Well, wouldn't her family flee her? Does she have contacts in other places?
The most wealthy house and a sorcerer of such great power who has acted in treacherous ways amongst the coast.
And don't anyone forget, and Genneth kind of cuts him off. Also, she has a dragon on her side, so, I don't really think that some regular old iron bars are exactly going to keep that woman in check.
Well, why would they just be regular? I assumed that the Jade Coast would use some type of magic for imprisonment.
I mean, my point stands.
Yes, and if we would... Well, you've seen her yourself, the most accomplished mage of this century. Don't you think that she would be able to dispel certain magics? Or find a way around?
Well, if she has to use her books and is dependent on that instead of someone like me or Sigil who can will it through either otherworldly or through our, I guess, birthright.
Well, I would love for Morgana to be stuck in the gaze of a beholder, but as far as I know, those are nowhere near the coast.
Make a history check. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, make a history check.
Do I remember what the dragon told me, and can I come to a conclusion? Because I know Robbie does, but...
Make a history check, too.
Could I also make a history check?
That's a 12.
Sure, everybody make a history check.
Oh, Daddy, that's a 18.
18 over here, too.
I wouldn't think of...
As far as you know, there are no beholders in the Jade Coast.
Is that for 18s as well?
Yes, that's for 18s.
I'm just wondering, because I remember what Turek told me about the beast that eyes can simply give fright. So you know.
Roll again with advantage. I mean, don't roll again twice, but make that roll again.
So that's a 19.
Oh, you rolled above a 10.
I did it, guys. So, plus 5, so that is a 24.
To your knowledge, there are no beholders in the Jade Coast.
Well, in that case, lads, there are no beholders in the Jade Coast.
I was wondering if I could come to a logical conclusion as Adi, not Robbie, but okay.
All right.
Ati, I don't think we can do it.
You have no knowledge of any beholders in the Jade Coast.
Ati, I'm not sure we have any other choice.
Sometimes we don't just have to kill what we fear.
I mean, she would have quite the haul of magical items for you to research. And I would much rather have those items not used against us.
I guess you guys don't understand my meaning behind this.
I look at Ati. I know what you mean.
Just a nice knowing nod right back at your sigil.
I don't mean that there would be that the reason for you to act with us would be a great bounty. I think of this as the good of the people. However, that's the redistribution of said artifacts might be of great use.
Before we start our, routine squabbles, is that all the information we need?
What would you like to know?
Anything and everything, but as far as I know it all. I'm not quite sure what to ask.
Well, the Faceless and the organizations involved with them also stand against House Hontori.
Yes, and are we constructing a particular hit? I know for a fact we are not going to be able to take this woman down head on.
My biggest concern is that the Faceless also have it out for House Ithvaru as well. As the leader of the Faceless is, and he looks over at Hestel before he says this, and then looks back over at Eridor, and then again back to Hestel. It's Ramses Hithvaru.
I beg your pardon. Did you just tell me?
Hestel's jaw.
Did you just tell me that the leader of the Faceless is your dead brother?
Well, a reborn version, but
Wait, reborn?
from what I can tell, his death was confirmed.
And he is Asimir, just like you.
No,
What is he?
human.
Reborn.
Yes.
Who used their power to do this?
I do not know.
I have a bad feeling about this.
As far as I know, the Faceless will act to take down House Hontori.
Without another word, Sigil shoots up. I have to go grab something. I will be right back. And I bolt out the door.
Where are you heading?
I'm heading to the dock, or well, the inlet of the engineers district to go get my gun.
Okay, I'm just gonna let you know, since you traveled there before, it will take you like an hour and a half to get there.
An hour and a half to get there? My
This is
goodness. Massive.
Big city.
Yeah, okay, well, Sigil stops like 3 feet out the door, walks right back in.
Well,
Remembering those things, you
I'm remembering
skid to
those
a
things.
cartoon halt.
And I close the door. Never mind,
you were going to the engineers district, weren't you?
I need my gun.
Don't you have at least one still?
And I hold up the gun with my index fingers. One is all well and good, but I like two.
Just want to give everyone a quick reminder before it is now drawing close to the time that you will need to depart for the tribunal. I will remind you that this would be the time if you want to use this day's use of the Sphere of Scrying before you depart, now would be the time to do so.
Oh, so we're trying to, I guess,
Only if you want to. I don't want to.
overthrow the standing house. Do we know if the Celestial Pact is aligned with them?
Everybody make a history check besides Ati.
22.
Another 12. Above average, slightly. Like Chris.
Crit fail.
Man, you're so engaged in the conversation, Eridor, but then all of a sudden your brain just locks in on, this is really good coffee cake. However, Sigil and Mordecai, you recall Sigil more through rural legends and folklore, but Mordecai, you've spent a decent amount of time in several major cities across Fel Agnar, and you would know from your time in Caldmain that the Celestial Pact is the continental-wide arcane university across the main continent of Fel Agnar. It has existed for about 1,300 years. Very, very accomplished, and it does. I'll say 21, 22, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. I will say also that it does strike out to you from what you understand of the Celestial Pact that if Morgana is one of the most accomplished wizards of this era, it's likely that she trained for a good portion of her young and young adult life at the Celestial Pact.
Oh.
If Lady Morgana is such a powerful wizard as she is, there's probably a very high chance that she trained there.
Oh, I was thinking we may have some help from other people, but if...
Perhaps too many loyalists.
Perhaps.
However,
I don't know much of this Celestial Pact. However, if they are upright morally, the use of their magic and their teaching for personal gain might conflict.
Well,
Excuse me if I would. Artie, how does that crystal orb work?
Yes, who do we need to scribe?
well, that's what I was about to ask, because I may be able to find a bit of information then to see if I can have some very accomplished wizards help us.
Might I use it today?
Well, would
that was very polite of you, Mordecai.
it is out
Yes,
of your
I'm surprised
character.
you're still here.
Well, what I was saying is it may be helpful for us to have very accomplished wizards on our side, and I could use the orb to find out more information if we can actually ask them.
If you will decide this amongst yourselves, I would like to take a minute to prepare something that's not food for once. And I go back into the small kitchen. And I'm going to pray.
Okay. What do you pray?
Carragnog, you see that I am not the strongest or the wisest in this group. But Lord, I fear that dark times are coming. Help me to be a hero when I need to be. Even if my own life comes at the stake, give me the wisdom and the strength.
Roll a percentile dice.
79.
Not bad. Like I mentioned last time, they have God tier, literally, percentile dice rolls.
Indeed.
Indeed. Sigil, you feel this cool chill come over your body, like a gentle breeze. You feel your hair almost ruffle as you stand there, even though you know no physical force is actually passing through you. You feel this internally. And you see in your mind, almost in this brief kind of flash, you know what happens in an instant, but you kind of get this lingering glance at it in your mind. You see the restlessness of the sea before you kind of expanding in all directions, and before you see these two incorporeal scales. And you see one side that is heavily raised above the other.
Can I see what's on the scale?
Make a perception check.
Nat 20!
On the scale that is much more heavily weighted, you see a beautiful and enchanting small soccer ball sized orb that almost continually swirls with ever twisting, ever crashing waves inside of it.
And this is the one that's lifting upward.
This is the one that is weighted more.
Yes.
The one that's higher, as in the one that is brought up by the weight of the other, carries a familiar sword. It looks like the sword that Alakir has. It looks like the shard. And in a flash, the image is gone from your mind.
I'll do it. I'll do it. Stone first. Stone first. Right. I'm ready to go when you are.
Young one, unless our captain would like to preside, I trust your judgment with the sphere.
I have no ruling on this matter. In fact, I must depart a few minutes shortly. Again, if you will lead them to the tribunal, yeah, I'll lead them.
How much time do we have left? Because you said it's a 10-minute walk.
It's about a 10-minute walk. You guys are going to need to leave within the next 5 minutes.
I then...
And you'll get there with maybe 2 minutes to spare.
I look over at Mordecai and just say, who do you want to prescribe with the sphere?
The one who did this. And I point at my shoulder.
Is that going to help us?
No.
Then I guess if we have no other ideas, I raise the sphere up. Can I use this then?
Hestel turns and says, I will see you there shortly. It is likely that you all will be in more of the general extended populace seating arrangement. I shall dwell at the sides of Lords Tobin and Varen within their platform. And, well, I won't be within direct contact with you. I know that you, Eridor, have ways of sending silent messages to one's mind, and you as well, Artie. If there is something that you must notify me of, do not hesitate, although I cannot show any sign of communication. Keep your eyes open, and we shall see it through to this day. I will present our findings, and he kind of reaches for the documents and all of that.
Yeah, I gather them up. And hand them to him.
Are you guys handing him the third tome as well?
I think the whole shebang.
Yeah, and I point out which one of the paper tabs is the one for the sphere.
Very well. He kind of tucks it underneath his shoulder and kind of holds that part of that ceremonial sash over it so it doesn't really look like he's obscuring anything. Very well. Godspeed. And he turns and exits the room. Kenneth opens the door for him as he departs and shuts it behind him.
May Paloth guide you.
So are we going to scry somebody or are we heading out now?
I raise the orb and I say, is it a yes then?
Mordecai, there comes a time that we must all face the music. He will not be there.
Okay.
Yes, Ati.
Okay.
Who exactly are we going to scry?
I look over and I say, a nice man named Severus. And I cast it.
I'm sorry, who?
You say, I'm sorry, who? As the sphere pulses with this kind of bluish with bits of swirling white energy that kind of pulse out from it and then lock in, and all of you see in the image this shifting of landscape and of motion, even as Adi's eyes glow a shimmering white. Page 273 of the Player's Handbook has the scrying spell. 5th level divination. Okay. Yep. So I will say,
is it familiar, firsthand? I do have
I will say
his book with me, I guess, if we're gonna go with the
I will say it's firsthand.
Firsthand? That's what I was.
Because you've had one pretty good conversation with this individual, but
I do have his book with me, so does that with the connection one? Is that like possession?
sure. Okay. Yeah.
For those of you with absolutely no context, when you scry someone, if you have different levels of knowledge or knowing the person, it depends on how well you can scry them and what modifiers you get. So that's what that conversation was.
Number 15, Separiah.
I'm very concerned that our beautiful DM Chris just pulled out the monster manual.
Mwah.
It's fine.
Funny joke.
Funny joke.
But that wasn't a joke. He actually
What's
got
your
the monster manual
spell
out.
save DC, Ati?
It is a 16.
Go through.
So, the landscape rushes around you, and you see in your mind, even as the rest of you see within the orb, this shifting of landscape. You watch your mind shoot up and burst through the dark overcast of the sky. And as you burst through it, you see this great, super thick, super solid mass of dark blue that is entirely kept above this massive gray. You make a nature check.
That will be a dirty 20.
You think that this is some kind of suspended water of vast quantity. As you rush past it, it looks like it stretches for miles in every direction. And you don't even break through the water as you skyrocket and then launch back down. You break through the layer of water, passing through the dark overcast, and skyrocket to a different building within the Jade Ward. A central building. One that you suspect may be, in fact, the Jade Tribunal. Your scrying launches down through the structure. You rocket through some kind of large judicial auditorium and further down through rock and stone, and your vision crashes to a halt as you see the elvish form of Severus sitting at a chair with sitting in a chair at a table with two other individuals you recognize. One is the mage of the Celestial Pact that you briefly encountered at the library, Paramus Malore, and the other is Lady Morgana Hontori. As you zoom in and kind of halt over him in kind of this third-person shooter perspective, over his shoulder, seeing the faces of the other two individuals at the table, Lady Morgana says, "We have taken some of the bodies of the attackers, and I've communicated with several of the priests from the Order of the Jade Flame that they can temporarily resurrect these individuals so that they might be questioned before the tribunal. We also have others on by who can create a zone of clarity that will only allow the truth to be spoken. These creatures will reveal to us their true intent. Perhaps one among our company has this orb, or perhaps they are simply using it as an excuse to turn us against each other. If my suspicions are correct, I believe that, well, one house with much at stake and much to prove in this venture will be House Vakru. With the death of their lord, God's rest his soul, they very much wish to prove themselves. I believe that they will use any opportunity to shift the blame and push themselves into prominence." Paramus chimes in. Yeah, so I just want to make things clear that the Celestial Pact is here for the tribunal to witness matters that will affect the rest of Fel Agnar. And if push comes to shove, we do have new graduates that we can assign to help defend this kingdom. And he looks towards Severus, and you see the back of Severus's head nod, and Severus says, "Although if everything goes according to plan, and we are able to find this orb, I don't know if that will be necessary." Morgana stands. "Severus, you've been a friend for many years. And Paramus, you for not as long, but a few. If my suspicions are correct, everyone will use this as an opportunity to be at each other's throats. I cannot allow that to happen. If anyone must put themselves in harm's way to save this nation from these attackers, I will do so. I will bring all my powers and training to bear. And I will not allow anyone to stand in my way of saving this nation that I love. No one will stop me." And Adi, you watch as Morgana's eyes shift up from Severus's face, up and to the left, and stare directly at yours, and you feel this forceful backlash as you are ejected out of the scrying ritual, and you slam back into your chair.
I reach to go get her. What's happened?
We have to go. We have to go.
We have to go.
She's trying to convince the pact. I can talk to Severus. I can make sure the pact isn't aligned with her.
Wait.
Let's go. We have to go. I'd start to try to.
Kenneth opens the door. We can talk on the way, I guess. What in the name of the gods is going on?
We have to go!
And that is where we will end tonight's session. We will resume as our party of adventurers runs through the streets of the Jade Ward towards the Jade Tribunal as the dawn of a new day approaches. Hope you guys are going to tune in.